Okay, one more thing. Everybody stand up. This is called the jangle. Jangle.
Jangle.
And this is an Edgar Casey move. So, first of all, you just start by trotting in place. Okay, and then get your arms moving. Okay, now go up. Breathe in, and then breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Another one. Breathe in. And breathe out. Okay, and then just sit there. And you'll feel the tingle. Okay? So that's an easy way of turning on, you know, your upper and lower points.
Cool. Do the jangle.
What if you feel really
The jangle.
like lightheaded?
Lightheaded has more to do with your circulation. So maybe you're dehydrated. And if you're dizzy, that usually is an indicator of dehydration because there's not enough circulation, you know, to go from the head down to the toes. Okay? So make sure if you're a heavy coffee drinker that you're giving yourself a glass of water in between each cup of coffee.
Oh, really?
Or, I hope nobody here is a soda drinker, but, you know, soda, it's just a chemical. And, you know, you guys, you know, are dealing with non-chemical products. And so especially at your parties, you know, don't offer sodas, okay? There's so many other alternatives. But anyway, you know, the soda also depletes the body of hydration, so you need to replenish, you know, with water in between each soda.
When you see the advertiser on, I think it was on Pinterest, but it was lemon, lime, orange, and cucumber in a jar of water. Is that really a detoxifier?
It can be. There's different detoxifications with just lemon, water, and maple syrup and cayenne pepper. It's called the lemonade cleanse.
What?
And is that
Say
for
that
something
again.
specific or just kind of a general body?
It's for a general
But
body
it really
detox.
flushes you
And you
out.
can look on the internet. It's called the lemonade cleanse. Just for a very, but you have to be disciplined. You have to be committed to doing it for 10 days. But you will feel wonderful.
Make sure
And you could download Stanley Burrell's book off the internet. There are so many great resources on the internet if you just access them. BURROUGHS. OUGHS. And it's called the Master Cleanse. And what I do is, you know, I usually cleanse twice a year. But I carry that drink with me in my car every day. Nancy still has my 32-ounce water jug here.
I do. We'll see.
So,
So you use that all the time? You just have
because it keeps my lymphatic system flushed, and then it also keeps your pH, you know, more alkaline.
So you just drink that all the time? The lemonade cleanse, you drink it all the time?
Or if I don't want to add the maple syrup, you know, then I will just either use a fresh lemon or a fresh lime and put that in my drinking water.
Do you use cucumber at all, or is there any reason for that?
No, but there's no reason that you couldn't. I like the lemon or lime because it neutralizes the pH in your stomach.
What do you suggest for someone that has like Crohn's disease or irritable bowel when it goes to cleansing? Because a lot of those, like the quinine pepper, that does
Not work for you.
right.
Okay.
Should I just? I typically just stayed away from them because every time I tried one, it's like it flares that up and creates more problems with me.
In that case, some people, what works is more of a what we call psyllium husk in bentonite clay. Have you tried that? And anyway, that's somebody who has problems with either constipation or irritable bowel, because irritable bowel can be pockets in the colon that are inflamed and you want to get the colon cleared out. And so just a simple psyllium husk powder, you can get it at Mama Jean's, psyllium husk powder. I think Sonae's is one that I've used there. And bentonite clay. Bentonite clay pulls the toxicity.
we have it in a clay mask and then I did.
You're not saying to drink it, though.
Yeah.
It's like Nancy doesn't want any of her product ingested,
Yeah.
which is good. Okay, so after we break for lunch, what we're going to do is, this is just showing myself doing some reflexology, you know, in the clinic setting, and like I said, it's just a wonderful tool to implement. Okay, a couple more anointing points. Now, there's a reason that they call them anointing points. This comes from Jinshin Jitsu, is because these are activation points on what they call the 26 energy locks on the body. Okay? So these are some major points that are used for opening up those energy centers. Okay, number 1 is GV20. Everybody, again, take top of your head. Okay, major anointing point. Okay, so you can anoint your point there. And actually, if you go on either side of it, on the side and front to back, I usually put my index finger on the middle, and then I take my thumb and forefinger and twist it from side to back. Okay, that's called Gateway to Heaven. Okay, so that's another way of activating this chakra point here. Okay, and then your temples. Okay, everybody give yourself a temple massage. And we've done the top of the lip, you know, the energetic interaction point. Actually, this is the emergency point. The energetic interaction point is that point I showed you between your knee and your hip. Okay, that will also wake you up. And we've already gone through the occipital hollow. And okay, and then the other thing is the throat jiggle. Anybody here have thyroid issues, metabolism issues? So you take your, you just right below the vocal cord, you just want to give it a little bit of a jiggle, and that helps to stimulate the thyroid gland. Earlobes, another activating point. We've gone over that quite a bit. And then, of course, I've gone over the center of the chest rub, up and down. And then the shokari, this is just, you know, when I'm relaxing somebody, you know, I'm using one of the oils, like lavender. You know, this is called your third eye chakra. And so you could just, I use a Reiki symbol, you know, but it's just a real good point to rub. I don't have a board, but it goes to the side, down, and then in a circle. To the side, down, and then in a circle. That's a clearing point. Okay, another point is, everybody feel on your rib cage. I want everybody to put your fingers right on your xiphoid bone. Anybody here have tenderness there?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Okay, that's an indicator of stress. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Yes. And so what you want to do is you want to hold it with one hand, but then you just gently flush it down your leg. Okay. You'll be amazed how that will, or use your lotion bar, how that will release that energy tension point right there.
I know.
Is that what she was saying?
Okay, Janelle just said there are more than 50 ways to use your lotion bar now. We know that.
Yeah. 51.
I love it.
Okay, so then, you know, for bladder infections, you know, use your lotion bar, and again, belly button and pubic bone. Or put your hand on your belly button and pubic bone and rub it in the back. Okay?
Was all of this in that same book that you told us about at the beginning?
Touch for Health.
Yes.
Yep.
The
Yes.
points are in there? Okay, good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you're interested, you know, if you're not from this area, then there's instructors in just about every state. You know, they're pretty prevalent, you know, across the country. But we do have a nurse here in Springfield that used to teach it. I haven't been in contact with her, but I can find out. Okay, in your books, you do have this Jinshin Jitsu. And when I'm soaking in my sea salts, I actually have this chart in my bathtub. I mean, on the side of my
That's a
bathtub.
good idea.
So that I can read the points. And I believe if you go to the Jinshin Jitsu website, you know, you can order that chart. But it is wonderful, you know, for really deeply relaxing you know, and all you do with these points is you hold them, okay? You don't even have to rub them or anything. You just close your eyes and hold them, and you're going to feel the pulsation from all of these points. So you want to start at number 1, and there's 26 different energy locks. And then you go all the way through until you get to number 26, which number 26, I want everybody to end there. You just kind of give yourself a hug, and just hold it and close your eyes. And pretty soon you'll feel the pulsation. Okay, so that's another good move for kids.
We do that. We have a whole thing where you have your rocket and it explodes.
How
You do your head,
wonderful!
and you give big hugs.
What school was that?
Nixa, early childhood.
Wow, amazing. Who got that started?
Well, we do brain gym,
Mm-hmm.
so that the brain gym program has some of that in it.
Yep.
And then the OT and I do a lot of sensory stuff.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, such a wonderful tool. I'm so glad to know that they're incorporating that into early childhood. Okay, so these acupressure anointing points, I'm not going to go over each of them because it's a whole circuitry, you know, but, you know, you can either use this charpet or, like I said, go to the website and, you know, put one in your bathroom. And just, it takes about, well, it depends on how long you want to hold a point. You know, it takes a good 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you know, while you're soaking in your salts, you know, to activate these points.
Do you have to do the whole sequence?
Yes.
Okay, that was my question. You don't just go in and do 1 and 2. You need to go all the way through.
Yes. I mean, that would be a workshop in itself, you know, that I could demonstrate. It's just, it's very, very relaxing.
I was gonna say, this was, I think, because when you said 26 points,
Yeah.
Julie Pinnick was working on Les because he had he has all this pain, so he was being a guinea pig for it. And she went down and was doing 26 points, and out of the 26 points, he had 23 pain points.
No, she was
different?
doing the fibromyalgia points.
Okay.
And the fibromyalgia points are indicators, you know, that you have inflammation in the body.
Okay. Yeah, because within a month, I knew she had him pain free.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, she's wonderful.
And I wondered if that was it. Oh.
So this is just different applications, you know, of the oils in a clinical setting. I also, because I'm also a massage therapist, so you can incorporate the use of hot stones, you know. The more tools in your bag, the funner it is, I think. But you can also keep it very simple with just the tools you have at hand, you know, with Jordan Essentials. Okay, and then the chakra system, we'll just kind of end with there because that's a wonderful way. And if you open your booklets, you'll see the chakras on page, does anybody have the page for the chakras? It's
There
a
are
man
no
laying
page
down.
numbers, I don't think.
Oh, I saw it.
The person laying down, right? Yeah, the person laying down.
Yeah, it's towards the middle.
It'll be a colored picture. So this goes through all the different chakras of the body.
It's right after blending.
So these are also ways that you can use your oils, you know, or even your spritzers, you know, on balancing the different, what we call vortexes of the body, okay? So we'll start with the base chakra, and you can either balance from the front or you can balance from the back, okay? So the base chakra is associated with the color red. And so if you're using this on a family member or a loved one, you know, you may want to incorporate, you know, some guided imagery with them on helping them to relax. So as you're just holding that point, or maybe you're using, you know, your oil to relax them, you know, or the happiness spritzer, just spritz that point, and then you just kind of hold that point, okay? And again, you just get sensitive to the energy of it. This is wonderful for doing with babies. I had the opportunity to work in the preemie nursery, and what I started doing is doing the chakra balancing on the babies. It was amazing, because with preemie babies, you want to keep them quiet, because the more energy they expend, of course they lose weight, and they can't afford to lose any more weight. And so I would do this energetic balancing with them, and they would just go to sleep. So this is something that I had done with my children through the years. I do it with my grandkids, and so it's just a very simple way of relaxing the body. Now, if you're working with a baby or with someone that you have laying on a bed, I will hold one hand, my left hand usually, on the top of the head, on that main point on the top of the head, and I'll use this hand as going up the chakras, okay? So as they're laying down with the baby, I'll have my hand on their head, and then I just start rocking. Or if they're on their tummy, put it on the back, and then I just start rocking them back and forth. This would be good with Anya. Just rocking them back and forth, or with your kids that are, you know, real anxious. And then the next one, keep your hand on the head, that keeps the body centered, is right at the, right below the belly button. Okay, this is the splenic point. It's associated with the color orange. Okay, it's tied into the sexual organs. Okay, so again, I would just kind of rock them back and forth. And you want to stay on that until you can feel, you know, that you'll have a sense that there's completion with it. Okay? Okay, the next point that you go up right on the belly button is the stomach chakra. And this is associated with the color yellow. And it's associated with the stomach. Okay? So again, you rock them back and forth, front or back, whether they're on their stomach or on their back. Okay? And then you go up to the next point, and it's right on the heart, right above the chest, and that's your heart. Plexus, color green, and of course it has to do with the heart. Now there's emotions that are tied to each of these chakras as well. Okay, and you can learn about that. The heart in the back is between the shoulder blades. Okay. The next one, and go ahead and do it with me, is the throat. Okay? Because you can do this on yourself. And this is a great thing to do in the bathtub, soaking in your salts. So, throat is associated with the color blue. Okay? It has to do with the throat, with the expressive centers, with your thyroid, things like that. Okay? And in the back, it's on the back of your neck. Okay, the next one is what they call the intuitive center of the third eye, and that's right at the forehead. Okay? If the baby's laying on their stomach, you can still put your hand on their forehead as their head's turned sideways. Okay? Associated with the color indigo. And then we have the crown. Okay? And then when you get to the crown, okay, then you want to say open, open, open. Or with both hands. Open, open, open. Okay? And that opens up that whole circuitry. And so anyway, if you have an opportunity, you know, to do this with your babies or grandkids or even your loved ones, if they're real out of sorts, you know, it's very calming.
When you're doing your chakras, have you ever put your tongue on the top of the mouth to help
I think
open?
I probably do that intuitively because I'm glad you mentioned that. The tongue, when it touches the roof of the mouth, it connects your central meridian with your governing meridian. That's where they two intersect, is at the roof of the mouth, when you touch your tongue to the roof of the mouth. Now I'll go back to acupuncture. You know, we see people with their tongue piercings, okay? And so you want to pay attention if you have a loved one with a tongue piercing. If it's a silver stud, you know, it's going to be sedating that whole circuitry. If it's a gold stud, they may be overstimulating that whole circuitry. Okay? And they just don't realize it. They really don't. They just, aesthetically, that's...
When people do piercings on people, do they know this? Do they share
Well,
this with them?
Yeah,
or-
I think probably not.
They don't care.
But as parents and grandparents, you can educate them. I mean, as soon as my daughter came back from Mexico,
Ooh.
and I knew, I just intuitively knew, I said, Laura, let me see your tongue. And so I immediately got out, you know, the chart, you know, showing her what she had done. I mean, she immediately took it out. She didn't know. You know, she was just doing it because it was fun.
I wonder if this has anything to do with growing up. I could not. My daddy was a Southern Baptist preacher, but we couldn't get. I couldn't get any piercing, no ear piercings. And I'm just wondering. I mean, somewhere along the line, it was legalistic. I mean, finally at age 13, he allowed me to.
Yeah.
But I wonder if that has any tie in it because of what it would do or what they know or
Yeah,
or
could be.
something. What about a belly button piercing?
Belly button is disrupting, again, the central meridian. You know, that main circuit breaker
Oh, I
coming
know.
up.
Yeah. I mean, it's just,
And then also the belly button, it ties in with the neurolymphatic point for your kidney. And so, since the adrenals sit on top of the kidneys, it can overstimulate the kidney, overstimulate or sedate the adrenals.
oh wow. So if you start noticing, what kind of problems would you start noticing?
Yes, you start noticing adrenal fatigue,
Tired.
tired all the time. You have a belly piercing?
Danielle, my daughter.
Yeah. But if you say it lovingly to them, are you aware? Are you aware what this is doing to the circuitry of your body? You know, if they say, oh, you're woo-woo, Mom, then you just bring out, you know, your charts. That's where your Touch for Health reference book, when it comes from somebody else with authority, you know, it doesn't matter that I've had authority. Kids are kids. They're going to question, you know. And if you have validation, then they believe you.
Just have the book available. So you got to read this. It's so interesting.
Yeah, or just show them the chart, the meridian chart. Yeah, I wish I could speak at high schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything wrong with the piercings of your ears if you just have one hole or?
Well, again, I mean, I do that, and that's the eye point, okay? But I make sure that, you know, when I'm at home, I never wear them, but I just rub it out.
So you should take
It's the earrings that stay in constantly. You know, like the young 16-year-old with.
Because I never take mine out. I haven't taken them out in years.
Yeah, that's how I am.
How's your eyes? I mean, I know you wear
I
glasses.
have ocular migraines. I was just diagnosed with them in September.
Oh my
when
God.
my eyeballs have migraines and I go blind.
Yes.
Oh.
So take them out. How long you want to live with this?
Who would have known?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I take my lower ones.
I've been thinking about it like 4 years.
What is white gold? Because you say gold is
Stimulating.
stimulating and
It
silver.
would still be stimulating. Yep.
Gold is gold.
Gold is gold. So basically what this comes down to is keeping our vibrating body, you know, at its peak. And, you know, I keep referencing the athletes, you know, that they know what this is all about. I mean, they have personal trainers that, you know, work with them on getting this body to resonate and to vibrate at a high frequency so they can perform. That gives them the cutting edge. And so with yourselves, it's such simple techniques that you can use to keep yourselves healthy and keep your babies and your family, even your puppy dogs. Oh my God, I've worked on so many animals because their spine is the same as ours. So working on their spines, working on their ears, you know, is very, very relaxing. Using the lavender oil or a mist on them can be very calming. Your citrus oils can be very good for fleas.
I use one of my spritzers on my dog, and he's got fleas, and he's a Chihuahua, and he scratches constantly.
Yeah.
And he slept all night.
Yes, yes. The citrus oils work wonderful for that. Even the tea tree. You know, sometimes they get the, oh, what do you call it? The allergy, you know, to the flea bites where they get those hot spots. So the hot spots, I'll just talk about that one in particular on animals, since we haven't really touched on animals, and I love working with animals, is you can make a very simple blend in the palm of your hand with your oils and baking soda and castor oil. And I think Nancy's going to start carrying castor oil in the future. But you just make a palm blend is what I call it. Castor oil is one of the most therapeutic oils. And you add just about a teaspoon of baking soda till it turns into a little moist paste. And then you either can put lavender on it, you know, if you want to calm down the itch, or tea tree, which is antibacterial, antifungal. And then apply that to the animal, and I mean within days it will clear up.
Now, what about oil
Yep.
with baking soda? What if they have sensitive skin?
It's wonderful for sensitive skin.
What about tea tree for cats? Because I heard that they can't process tea tree. You can't use on cats because they can't process it.
It won't go through their liver.
There was another consultant who said not to use lavender on cats. Really? Yeah, because I looked that up because my cat is starting to kind of itch and have some hot spots.
Using a mist though.
Okay.
But yeah, the castor oil blend for your hot spots on your animals, you know, works really, really wonderful.
What about for arthritis in cats?
Well, arthritis, you know, because of the furry sort of thing, you know, it's kind of hard to apply the oils. But arthritis, of course, the best thing is the sea salt soaks, you know, using that.
You can soak
And then if, you know, magnesium oil, you know, is something that, you know, needs to be added as well, because magnesium helps with the inflammation and relaxation of the muscles.
For the cat, she was asking how, because cats don't like to be bathed with the Dead Sea
Yeah.
salt. But can you dissolve the Dead Sea with like water or something and spritz them with that?
That's what I was saying, you know,
Okay.
using the spritzer.
Well, I just have a dog, so that's why I was wondering
Yeah.
if you could just
Yeah.
even bathe him.
The dog ate a Dead Sea salt soak.
Oh, he's a Great Dane, and he loves taking baths.
Yes.
So he loves
Well, they
it.
don't have
Nancy,
a
you gotta take a picture of her dog taking a Dead Sea salt soak. It's a great Dane.
I
They don't have anything as far as arthritis medicines for cats, so it's
Well,
very
I don't
difficult.
deal into the veterinarians are very protective of their areas, and so I really can't go into medicinal, you know, things, you know, like that. But I just know what has worked for me with my animals and people that have brought me animals, as far as relaxing them, you know, with using these same anointing points, but or rubbing behind the ears or the spine especially. Works really well. Or giving their tail a little bit of a tug if they're having some low back pain. You know, they just need a little adjustment.
You had mentioned keeping your body at high energy.
Yes.
I've been in martial arts for years, and I had a grandmaster that at the beginning of every session, he would just have us just go and
Happy.
do this all over our body. I mean, anybody that would walk by would think we were nuts,
Yeah.
because every part of our body we had to slap pretty hard.
Yes.
Arms,
And that's
legs,
just,
everything.
it's turning on the circuitry is what it's doing.
So I do have a question about the animal thing.
Uh-huh.
And I said that, you know, with the sensitive skin, can you use like a lavender to help
Oh, yes.
soothe their skin, or
Yes.
what would be
Or even
good?
mist it on their bedding,
Okay.
you know, works really well. Okay, before we break for lunch, I want everybody to stand up. We're going to turn the body on again. And we're going to start with, I want to just quickly review, you know, the turn-on points so that you guys are going to purposefully bathe. Okay, so let's start with in the central meridian, the governing meridian. Okay, the circulation, heart and lungs. Okay, the stomach, the liver, small intestine, kidney, bladder, and large intestine. Okay, so we got that. Okay, now we're going to do what we call a cross crawling. Is going to balance the right and left side of your brain. Okay, so watch yourselves as you do this. Take your right hand and slap it on your left knee. Left hand, slap it on your right knee. Okay, now march in place doing that. Okay, now when I say switch, what I want you to do is go backwards. Okay? So we're getting the front and the back side of the brain.
Are you keeping these?
Just yeah.
Just touching it.
Yeah. So if you notice that you hesitate before doing that, you might have some imbalance stuff going on. So then you begin with a good hook up. So cross your arms, clasp, and then center yourself. Okay? Now sit down and sit on your hands.
Does it matter which way you sit on them?
Huh?
Palm up or down?
Palm up.
Okay. See, Miranda did it wrong.
And just feel the pulsation. Okay.
Are you talking about pulsation like in your
We do that with our
You'll feel it in your hands.
In your hands, okay.
Yes. Okay, so fun morning.